Well, hello, everybody. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with keto, under 20, total carbs every day. In fact, my total carbs for today are 8.2. My calories are under 1,300 and protein 44.5 and my fat is 116. So with those macros, I'm still allowed 100 calories worth of fat. I like that. So, do you have la land thinking? Do you think that you're special? Do you? Well, you are special. You're unique, which makes you special. But do you think you're special in allowing yourself things on keto that really are like new school keto as opposed to old school keto? I listen to people, I watch people, I answer people that have la land thinking about themselves. And I used to have this when my food addiction was raging out of control. And if I didn't drink the day before or have desserts the day before, I actually thought that, like, hallelujah, there'll be a parade for me today, and I will probably lose 10 pounds just because of those two decisions that I made yesterday. No alcohol and no sugar desserts. Oh, doesn't work that way, especially if you have an older metabolism. Well, we know that our metabolisms slow down at a rate of like 10% each year. So by the time you get to 50, by the time you get to perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause if you're a woman, and if you're a man, please private message me. You've got some issues. But by the time you get to those three stages of life, and they are not gentle. Nobody prepares you for these things. So when you're la and you're 30 and you think you've got plenty of time and who cares if your grandmother died of dementia, that's not you, you're fine. You're doing a kind of a lazy keto. Well, guess what? It's really nice if you can make decisions about your health and about your keto food plan before you have to do things. That's what I always say to people, that really need a little bit of a blast, a one-liner. It's nice to make the decision not to do something and take care of yourself than when the doctor says, here's your script, take 2 of these every morning, and here's your next script, and take 1.5 of these every day, and here's your script. You need to take 2 of these each day for the rest of your life because, you have entered the pre-diabetic stage of your life. You have entered the high blood pressure stage of your life. You have entered the cholesterol stage of your life. You have to know that the typical mainstream American, maybe even Canadian doctor is trained for your stages of unhealth. That's what they know how to write scripts at. They don't know how to tell you to eat a healthy diet because they're struggling themselves every day. They're looking at their past weekend and they're saying, whoa, I fell a little bit off the rails myself. But the white coat covers a lot of stuff. It really does. So it's really nice to make the conscious decisions to change up your health. Come out of la land. Come out. Come out. You know what Albert Einstein said? Insanity is doing the same thing the same way and thinking it's going to turn out different. If you have 12 pounds to lose, 24 pounds to lose, 36 pounds to lose, or 136 pounds to lose, and you do it the same way every day, and the scale's not budging except when it goes higher, then, what do you think's going to have to happen to transform you? Do you think that there's some magic potion that you can take that's going to make a difference? Chances are, if you're over 40, it's over 40 as my voice goes up, you're really going to have to buckle down and make some changes. Now, for some people, changes mean give up the fruits, give up the standard American diet, give up the cheating, give up the cheat meal, give up the, oh, taste off somebody else's plate type things, or I only had one cookie, or I only had that one keto cookie that was 500 calories, but oh, net carbs was only 12, and I allow myself 50 net carbs every day. You could still fit in the standard American diet with all those carbs in your plan. Come on. If you want to do something for yourself, what happened to me was giving up the certain foods killed in less than a week cravings for that certain food or that certain item or that certain way of eating. It really does. And there are other people that will attest to the same thing. Getting it out of your system. You can't drink alcohol in safety if you're an alcoholic. You can't have a few cigarettes a day and be out of the woods with your smoking addiction. And you can't have sugar and carbs every day and think that you can actually control your sugar addiction. I don't know anybody that's done it with any success. And I know that I didn't. Fortunately, I learned with alcohol the same thing that I learned with sugar. I can't eat it in safety. I can't fool around with it. I can't have it once in a while. I just can't. There is no safety for me with my sugar addiction. And then when you add the sugar to the carbs, I'm really in trouble because my addiction ended with white flour and white sugar, just horrible food addiction. And so giving it up, the first week, of course it's rocky. It's a sugar and flour addiction. It's going to be rocky. Your body is used to it. It's going to be going, more, I want more. Well, it's not going to get more because you have decided to give it up. And that sometimes is where that whoosh comes from that people talk about, that think they're entitled to have it every single week. No, it's just the cells in your body are loaded with water because that's what happens when you have carbohydrates, the sugar, flour type of carbohydrates. And so when you have those, your cells fill up with water and it keeps you that way. And that's why when people first, even those that are in Weight Watchers have a little bit of a weight loss, but that's because they've cut back on the real crap that they were eating. Then they just get into modified standard American diet. But here at Keto Land, and this is Keto Land, and this is strict old school Keto Land. If you've tuned into this channel, you will find that giving up sugar and giving up flour will take a while to withdraw from. Those are addictions. They light up your brain. Sugar is harder to withdraw from than heroin. Not that you need to be a heroin addict, and they usually do look skinny, but that's not a reason to be one. They do have horrible skin lesions, though, and you don't want those, no. So anyway, and it's not the type that a dip in a saltwater ocean will make a difference. So when you give up sugar and flour, that's coming out of La La Land. And yeah, you're going to be probably sick for a week, and it's going to take a while. And you don't want to cave to your cravings because honest to Sarah, if you give up sugar and you don't have it for a week, your cravings will diminish. Everybody, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it will happen. And then you will lose your cravings for it. You still could be triggered, though. And being triggered means you're watching some food porn someplace that you're not supposed to be, thinking that you could fit it in, squeeze it in, find a sugar alternative, and make it keto-fied. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're here for your health. So having a keto-fied dessert or bread only means that you're keeping your head game going. And you don't want to keep the head game going, okay? And I know that a lot of people do it. They do it with pancakes, they do it with breads, they do it with desserts, and and sometimes they do it with shakes or bars, which I call candy bars with wigs. And those things, well, first of all, the candy bars have net carbs. So if you're here doing total carbs with me, those don't even exist in this world. And then if you're doing shakes, I don't know. I mean, I've never been, I want to be a shake fan, but I'm not. I'd rather eat my food. I'd rather eat whole foods and know what it is instead of having some hydrolyzed version of like a green vegetable. I'd rather have the green vegetable. You know what I'm saying? So, La La Land is probably what some might call lazy keto. It's kind of looking at something and thinking it kind of sort of might be something like that. It's allowing a fruit because, well, fruits weren't my problem. I didn't get to be 275 because of fruits. No, but your body's going to have a hard time. Your metabolism, you have insulin resistance. If you've got a pot belly, you have insulin resistance. That's your sign. And so it's going to take some work. You've had your quota. You've done your damage. You've been to the trough for the last time for those yucky food items. What you want now are real whole foods. Berries in season, but we're talking like a half a cup a day in season. I haven't had any for months and months and months and months and months. I keep saying if my raspberry bush has raspberries, I might have some. But last summer, by the time I could get to them and the birds and the little four-footed creatures weren't getting them, I would have an ounce. So we're not talking like overload of berries in season either. So you want to have the fats that come from fatty cuts of meat. You want to have the fats that are olive oil, coconut oil, macadamia nut oil, flaxseed oil, walnut oil, things like that. What you aren't having are the inflammatory oils like canola, soybean, vegetable, safflower, sunflower, and things like that. You're not buying bottled dressings anymore. You're learning how to make your own at home. I saw Dr. Oz yesterday where they made some at-home salad dressings. They look divine. They keep in a jar in the fridge. So with just another shake, you can have this wonderful dressing. I prefer just my extra virgin olive oil and my macadamia nut oil. But for some people, that could be too bland and boring. So he had a chef on that showed how to make these divine dressings with very little oil, sometimes with full-fat yogurt and some spices and avocado, things like that. So you could probably go onto Dr. Oz's website and see, homemade dressings, also with vinegar. And I'm not a vinegar fan. So anyway, you can do this. You can come out of the la la land of your stinking thinking, fantasy thinking that, going a day and a half without having some sort of ketofied treat is going to bring you the weight loss that you want. No, you got to knuckle down. It's going to take some work. It's very, very simple, as is the foods I use, but it's not easy, especially if you are, impatient and petulant and, thinking that you deserved to lose a lot of weight. You've got that entitled feeling that like, well, it happened to that woman. She lost, 8 pounds last week. And I saw in an article in a magazine that somebody went keto and they lost 7 pounds the first 4 weeks. Well, great for them. Let's have a freaking parade. But if you've got a slow metabolism and any part of those pauses, pre, meno, post, you're screwed. You're screwed. Your metabolism is screwed. You can rev it up. It is possible. I'm here a couple of weeks from being 68, showing that it can be done. But it's going to take a little bit of work. It's not going to be doing the same thing that you've been doing, thinking that the results are going to be different. They won't be. So buckle down, buckle in, and pay attention to your foods. How do you do that? Well, I only know one way of doing it: weighing and measuring and planning. Weighing, measuring, and planning. And then there's the food items too. So, yes, it takes a little bit of work. Yes, each week you can get a little bit smarter about how you do your keto. But it's going to take teaching yourself. This is a self-taught, disciplined program for most of us, or at least those that are here. And so every day you do a little bit better for what works for you. Some people feel a food disorder coming on if they have to weigh and measure. I don't know what to tell them to do, but if they're successful, well, good. Some of them, I know one person cut out like, paper dolls, portions. So when they go to have a piece of steak or, I don't know, piece of cheese, something, they've got these cut out paper things that show the portions, because portion distortion is something that happens to those of us that have heartier appetite. And I have a heartier appetite. That's why my bowl of lettuces works for me. I weigh and measure each of the lettuces. I'm having like 6 different lettuces, including a spring mix, which is like 6 different lettuces there. And so I weigh and measure in grams. And then I add my tablespoons of EVU and macadamia nut oil. And that just works for me. It's got the dark nutrition of the lettuces. And so I'm getting many different nutrients in each different variety. I'm getting fiber. I'm getting polyphenols, chlorophylls. I'm getting all that good stuff from the lettuces. I don't buy iceberg, and I'm not really a fan of romaine. I like red leaf, but the romaine seems to be too light of a green. It feels like an expensive iceberg, so as it were. So anyway, you can do this. You can. It's simple, 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 but it's not easy. But you can get the cravings gone from your head, gone from your body, and then you stay away from the food porn, so you're not being triggered by things that you think that you can have. You're not keto-fying things because you're here for the health benefits as well as the scale, right? You are, right? This isn't about trying to game the keto system, right? Think about it. Are you trying to do that? No more la-la land. Get serious about your health, because what you do at 40 could save you at 70, okay? You don't want to end up like your grandmother. I don't want to end up like my grandmother. So that's how I'm rolling. Have a wonderful day, my pickles, my turtles, and my snowflakes. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom in Food. You can do this. Keto under 20 total carbs. It works. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.